Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Ben Whitaker, you may remember his little over the top rope collapse with Liam Cameron, and he got a lot of criticism for it because people said he basically quit. Okay, it didn't look good, did it? But the fight was declared a technical draw. And most people thought that Cameron was in the ascendancy. I absolutely agree with that. They thought that he would have probably gone on to beat Whitaker. It's perfectly possible, yeah. He was definitely looking good, whereas Whitaker was looking ragged and out of puff. But Whitaker has said, "I make no excuses." He said, I want that fight. I think it's the right next fight. He said, "I went to the Olympics with a torn rotator cuff and no one heard me mention it before. No one really heard me mention it after, so I'm not going to start with, oh, my ankle," because that was the reason for the reason why he couldn't continue against Cameron was he said he damaged his ankle. He said, "It happens. I couldn't continue, but when I go and beat him in the next fight, I'll have a lot to say then." Okay, we'll hold you to that then, Ben. He said of the first fight, he said, "I didn't perform the best on the night that I wanted to. Fair play to him, Cameron. He's got a career off the back of it." Whitaker's referring to Cameron signing with Frank Warren. Got a career off the back of it. Well, he's got an opportunity, certainly, because I think our Uncle Frank's going to be looking to put Liam in with Ben again. He said, "For me, at the end of the day, I took a little time off, meaning, following the fight, and I'm focused and I'm excited. You never know what he's going to do," meaning Cameron again, with his promotional deal, the one with Queensberry that Frank Warren offered him. He might go a different route. He might think, "I don't need that now." Well, that's a possibility because, of course, if you've got a manager and a promoter, they're gonna. I mean, there's no point in having a manager or a promoter if you don't listen to what they're going to suggest, and they might suggest something that maybe gets Liam some sort of title fight. I don't know, English title shot, British title shot. Who knows? Liam certainly in his last two fights has definitely. One was against what's the guy's name? Oh, Christ. It'll come to me in a moment. Former British light heavy champ, one who beat Anthony Yard. He did well in that fight, and he did well against Whitaker. See what happens when you get to this age? Fucking obvious names never come to you. I'll think of it in a moment. I keep saying Lerone Richards, of course it isn't, is it? But anyway, it'll come to me in a minute. Yeah. So it's quite possible that Liam Cameron might listen to what Frank Warren has got to say, and he might get offered a better deal. He might get offered more money than the Whitaker rematch. I mean, most people do want to see a Ben Whitaker rematch, but that's probably because they don't particularly like Ben Whitaker. They think he's a bit of a gobshite, and they want to see him slapped around. And Liam was in the process of doing that. But don't rule out Ben Whitaker. He's still very talented. I don't think he's got a lot of punching power, and I do think he's he's very slick. He's almost like a light heavy Sonny Edwards, but probably not as good. Not as good as Sonny was when he was at the top of his game. Lots of flash and dash, lots of slick moves. Doesn't hit very hard at all. And if you put it on him, there's a danger of unraveling. That's the impression I've always got with Ben Whitaker. Not always, but certainly in his last few fights. But Ben also said, on the back of that, the way people have been talking, it's only right that I fight him again, meaning Liam Cameron. I want to right the wrong, show how good I am, and move on to the next fight. Well, let's put it this way. I think that Ben Whitaker needs Liam Cameron more than Liam Cameron needs Ben Whitaker. I think if that will always be a sort of asterisk, maybe, rather than a black mark against his record until he rights that wrong, as he puts it. Whereas with Liam, I think if he went down a different route and said, "Oh, I'm going for a British title shot or whatever, there's more money over here," people would say, "Yeah, go ahead, mate, good luck to you." Whereas if Ben was to say that, if he was to say anything other than "I want this guy again," people would have a very dim view of that. So I think there's I think he has to say what he's saying. I'm not saying he doesn't believe it. He probably does want Cameron again. He probably does want to, as he's, again, we use the phrase, rectify the wrong. But at the same time, it ain't going to be easy, is it? You know, that looked like a pretty funky looking fight. But let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just say that Ben was injured. Let's just say that, you know, he did take Liam lightly. That's what it looked like to me, like he'd taken him lightly. Not that he was injured. Let's say that, you know, he is on it. He's ignored all the sort of out of the ring distractions, and he's really, it's kind of a lesson learned, if you like. He's kind of had a rude awakening, and he thinks, hang on a minute, I need to maximise my talent here. I need to stop pissing about. Maybe if he does that, he'll stand Liam Cameron on his head. You just never know, do you? You know, it's not as if Ben Whitaker is suddenly an untalented guy. They do not dish out silver medals at the Olympics for free. They do not. You know, when you consider how good Cameron can be, he's the former Commonwealth champ, don't forget, before he had his little out-of-the-ring sabbatical due to an alcohol issue, I think it was. You know, he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. And sometimes when you have a long time out of the ring, even if you're not living the life, when you do come back, and it can focus you more. So you may have lost half a step physically, a little bit of speed, but if you've gone through some of life's trials and tribulations outside the ring, it can actually mature you as a person. And I get the impression that's what's happened with Liam Cameron. Maybe Ben, having suffered this indignity against Cameron the first time round, maybe he's matured a bit as well. There's always that possibility. But what do you think? Who do you think wins the rematch? If there is a rematch, do you think there should be a rematch? Do you think, as I do, that Ben Whitaker needs Liam Cameron more than Liam Cameron needs Ben Whitaker? And I'm annoyed to say I still can't remember the name of that fucking fighter. What the fuck is his name? He beat Anthony Yard and then got done in 4 rounds. Why can't I remember that guy's name? It's so obvious. It's early dementia. I'm telling you. You get to this age and you fucking bits of your brain start falling out your ears and your nose. Anyway, one of you bright sparks is going to leave it in the comments. Please do. Anyway, actually, I'm going to look it up now. I'll get online and look it up. But anyway, comments below, as always. Thanks a lot for watching. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button. Support the channel. It's your channel as much as mine, because if I'm making these videos and no one's watching, what's the bloody point of making them? It just becomes an echo chamber, doesn't it? Anyway, much love to all of you. Be good. Catch you later.